Time for me to wake up. Hello everyone, my name is Powerglove, and I'd like to introduce you all to a whole rework of my channel. All my videos, gone. My old design, that was created by someone else, gone. Instead, it will be replaced by my new placeholder with my own design. It's not much, but it's honest work, and I'll improve as I go. But you're not here to see this. You're here to watch me get the platinum for Alan Wake, the remastered version. In all honesty, I never knew there was an original one that existed, and I wanted to try something new. Alan Wake Remastered was free to play through their PS Plus subscription a few months ago, and I got the platinum on the 6th of August, and this came out. So let's get to it. And before we continue, just note that there will be spoilers, so if you plan to play the game yourself, please do so before you watch the rest of the video. So, we start the game driving on a road that leads to Night Springs, only until we met this guy, who is now dead. Or is he? After that, we go through the basic tutorial of the game, and as an experienced gamer, I breezed right through it, and the goal was to get to the lighthouse. Simple enough. It was then I was introduced to the core gameplay. You see, this shadowy figure? They're called Taken. To eliminate them, you blind them with a trusty flashlight, which makes them vulnerable, and then you shoot them when they're exposed. Very simple. After that, I met this strange light guiding me to the lighthouse, and after that, I got my first trophy.
Follow the lights.
Later in the level, I made my first perfect dodge, which granted me another trophy.
Where you float like a butterfly.
Now I'm going to cover the story as quickly as I can because there's a lot to go over, but after getting that trophy I advanced onto the bridge and I was chased by this tornado that was easy to outpace. I finally made it to the lighthouse and then I woke up. I found myself in a car with my wife Alice, heading to Bright Falls on his boat. After a few interactions with the characters, I made it to the town and head over to the diner where we're supposed to meet with Stucky for the keys of our cabin. There I met Rose, these two crazy dudes, and this old lady. I head to the bathrooms to find Stucky, but instead bump into this edgy lady. She told me that Stucky wouldn't make it, so delivered me the keys herself. Anyway, I drove off. I was unaware that Stucky was trying to give me the real keys. Now we arrived at Cauldron Lake Cabin, and made my way inside. Now, it's here that's revealed that Alice, my wife, fears the dark, so I had to go and get the power back on. So I found a generator, returned the power to the house, rewarded me with another trophy.
Let there be light.
I spent my afternoon outside and returned to my wife. She then surprised me with a typewriter that she brought with us and said that maybe I could write while I was on vacation. I was, of course, mad and we fought. Then I stormed out and the cabin lost power. I returned to the cabin and saw a breach through the balcony. My wife Alice has fallen into the lake, so then I go after her. I then wake up in a car accident, no memory of what happened before, then spot a gas station close by and started to head towards it. Suddenly I was flashed by a bright light, then a manuscript page fell in front of me. On the page was writing of my nightmare, but I was awake. Now, to let you all know that these manuscript pages tells you what has, is, or will happen in the game, the pages that I collect either give me more context to the story as I progress or warn me of any danger ahead, but I won't go over every single page just to let you know. I then cut through the sawmill where I encountered my first real Taken. It proceeded to chase me and I bolted into the nearest building. I then find a gun and a flashlight. Now this is where the fun begins because a possessed machine proceeds to push the building off the cliff and I escape before I go down with it. I then eliminate my first few Taken and continue my way to the gas station. I find another pile of logs and found this crate, illuminated by my flashlight filled with supplies. Keep this in mind for later. I used the flare gun to eliminate Stucky, who was possessed by the darkness. He went down with ease. Give me another trophy.
Nordic walking.
I then made it to the gas station and called the police. I then collapsed and informed the officer to take me to the cabin, but the cabin never existed, which brings us to the end of episode 1 out of 6, giving me the Bright Falls finest trophy.
Previously on Alan Wake.
Oh.
I came to Bright Falls with my wife, Alice.
In episode 2, we start off in my apartment. Nothing too special, just enforces that Alice is afraid of the dark. Now, unfortunately, my footage was corrupted, so I'm using my second playthrough footage to show you what's happening, so we can return to the real world, and I suddenly receive a phone call. It was from a person claiming that they kidnapped Alice and left her license in the back of the building as proof. I find the license and get a call from Barry, a close friend of mine, and came into Bright Falls to visit me. Picked me up from the police station, and we went to the nearby cabin, closest to the meetup spot with the kidnapper. Once the night is settled, I started heading towards the meetup spot. On my way, I heard Rusty screaming out for help. The same person gave us the keys to the nearby cabin, but I was too late. He had to be put down, giving me the under the thin layer of skin trophy.
Under a thin layer of skin.
No one's odd. I push on towards the meetup spot. After a while, I reach his cable car, and of course, it malfunctions and jumps to the ground. While I was vulnerable, I was saved by the kidnapper, who was the same guy that we saw on the boat when we first entered the town. I won't lie to you, this part of the game was just a pain to deal with, as I couldn't defend myself and had to work along the kidnapper to survive. Basically, I blind, he shoots. We make it to the meetup spot, and it's a dead end, forcing me and the kidnapper to make our last stand on this platform. While doing so, I got another trophy.
Missed by a mile.
We survived, and I had the best idea to push the kidnapper off the platform, and somehow I pushed too hard to the point that I too fell off the platform as well. After the fall, I hunted down my kidnapper since he was close by, pushing through the woods, and I found his plane. For some reason, I spent a good amount of time here. Not sure why really, as the path forward was in the other direction. Oh well, moving on. I finally made it back to the cabins as I lost the kidnapper, and this episode is basically pushing through the woods, so I don't have anything interesting to show you. I found a truck, which I used to drive back to the cabin where Barry was staying in. On my way, the kidnapper called again, was basically like, yo, let's meet up again, but this time, give me all your manuscript pages. In case I haven't told you, the manuscript pages are the pages that I've been picking up throughout my journey. After defeating the birds and reuniting with Barry, we peacefully end the night. After attempting to write, I had a severe case of mind block, but luckily Rose called Barry and informed us that she has the pages and are willing to give them to me. And that's the end of episode 2.
Previously on Alan Wake, Alice has
Again, for some reason, my first playthrough footage was corrupted here, but thanks to Past Me, I got my second playthrough footage to help me out. So when we begin episode 3, we revived to Rose's place, and she offered us coffee. She then drugged me and Barry, and it was already night, and Rose lied to us for having the pages, so I left. I was then confronted by an FBI agent who was after me. He wouldn't say why, and decided to shoot me on sight. I escaped, but then was chased by the police. Then the doctors returned, and took care of the police for me, as well to try and stop me, of course. I went to a nearby radio station, and along the way, I popped a few trophies.
Sound and fury, baby. Paging Mr. Wake. Finders keepers.
Once I made it to the radio station, the police were onto me, and I had to get away again all the way to the train depot, as well died to a barrel along the way.
Some rusty metal. No thanks. Oh my goodness! What?
At the train depot, I had to go against a boss, and upon defeating it, it rewarded me with a trophy.
Heavy metal! Let's go.
I hopped into a truck or car, doesn't really matter, and drove the night away. I headed to the coal mine, where I'll be meeting my kidnapper, but he failed to show up and called me again for a change of plans. He wanted us to meet with him at Mirror Peak. Now this is basically the same as going through the woods, so I spent a good chunk of my time aimlessly wandering around. On my way to the peak, I popped some more trophies.
Flashbang! Thunder and lightning, baby! They're here!
As well defeat another boss.
Just for one thing. Iron Horse! Oh, was that a boss? Oh, fair enough. I'll die from that. Back! Back, I say! Flare gun!
Again, this was a long journey, by far the longest episode in my opinion. Once I caught up with the kidnapper, a tornado came in and interrupted us, and with some quick thinking, I popped a flare, which caused me to fall into the water below, and I passed out, thus ending episode 3.
previously on Alan Wake. I'm
Wheels within wheels.
Now believe me when I say this, but episode 4 was just something else. To start off, the game tries to persuade me that this whole time, I was a patient going through some hallucinations, that everything I've experienced was just in my head. But I know deep down, this wasn't the case. All of this was just true. After meeting with some interesting characters and the old boy band,
It takes crazy to know crazy.
everything started to make sense again. And I was right. The doctors returned, coming back stronger than before. So I was quickly reunited with Barry and got myself another achievement.
need to get to Hartman's office. It's right next.
Damn good coffee.
You okay?
I also just want to say that my first playthrough was a blind one, so there was a lot of trophies that I missed out through this playthrough. No clue as to why I left it to this point to tell you this, but moving on. Me and Barry then escaped the cabin, away from the doctor and their patients, went through a maze and have another boss fight, which is one of the doctors, and here's a quick hint. You could just walk past him and reach the next checkpoint and he would just despawn. There was no need to fight for him. I spent so long fighting this man and dying several times, and then I just realized you could just walk right past him and then boom, you just survive. And then meet meet up with Barry again. I had to hold out the darkness for a while Barry looked for the key. During the standoff, I got another trophy.
A twig. The 6-gun scribe. Barry, hurry up, please.
We finally escaped, but didn't make it far as we crashed. Me and Barry survived, and we got separated from each other again. I then headed to the nearby cabin, and this is the same, like, going through the woods experience again from the previous episode, so I'm just gonna oversimplify things again. Eventually, I made it to the cabin that was close by, where I took another truck and drove to the farm. Me and Barry made it to the main stage of the farm, since this farm belonged to the Valhalla brothers, which was the crazy 2 old dudes. Now, this was my favorite part of the entire game, and it still is. Holding out the darkness with sick music playing in the background with lots of ammunition really spiked my dopamine levels. Throughout the stage play, I earned a few trophies.
Oh my goodness. Come on, come on. Alright, come on, come on. Alright, fair enough. Collateral carnage! Let's go.
And then we make it out to the barn and earn 2 more trophies to the list.
It's not just a typewriter brand. Energized.
And pushed on towards the house since, well, it held the answers to what's happening. I then beat the boss at the end of the level, and me and Barry opened a couple cold ones to celebrate. Then I learned the truth. When Alice fell into the lake, the lady in black controlled me to write the manuscript. All the pages I'd been picking up was all wrote by me, but I didn't remember it because Thomas, the person who's dropped the pages in front of you and represents the light, helped me snap out of it. And the cutscene ends at the car accident, which was from episode 1, and this was the end of episode 4.
Okay, next episode.
Previously on Alan Wake. Under the
Perchance to dream?
I wrote a hard
After spending the night with Barry, we suddenly found ourselves back at the police station. We were then confronted by the FBI agent Nightingale, but it didn't last long. Now we have Sarah siding with us and she's willing to assist us. Our main objective now is to find the Lady of Light as she knows how to defeat the darkness. First we had to get through the helicopter, but it turns out the whole town was consumed by the darkness. Now I don't really understand why Sarah has full immunity for the darkness as well with Barry, but I guess it's just plot armor. So me, Barry, and Sarah push through the town to make it to the helicopter, which was a journey on its own. Once we made it to the helicopter, I had to make a stand so that Sarah could start up to the helicopter. Once ready, I hopped on and we all escaped, granting me another trophy.
Ah, yes, small town.
Shortly after, we got attacked by birds and I fell out. Not sure how I would realistically survive that, but oh well. I pushed onwards on my own, making it to the power plant, then the bridge, and then to the bright building. Once it's time, we were reunited with Weaver, which is the lady from the very beginning, and she informs us of this well-lit room, but I must transfer the power to the building. So I ventured outside and did just that. In doing so, I earned 2 trophies along the way.
designs these things.
Gatekeeper. Carney.
When I returned to Weaver, we took a long walk to a pipe entrance, which led us straight to the well room. In the pipe, the helicopter that Barry and Sarah were in crashed, so I left the pipe to go help them. Not sure how these 2 survived, but oh well. I came in just in time to save them from being overrun by the darkness, and we make our own way to the dam. Pushing through the darkness and going inside the dam to reunite once again with Weaver to enter the well-lit room. Here is where I found the clicker, which is basically a light switch, which brings us to the end of episode 5.
Previously on Alan Wake.
The Lady of the Light.
Story that has come true.
I'm truly sorry, but once again, I'm using my second playthrough footage of the start of episode 6. But basically, we experienced another memory awakes, and the clicker was able to turn night into day instantly, and we start the episode by driving to Cauldron Lake. Along the way, I've earned more trophies.
2 for the price of 1. What lights through wonder your window, whatever.
And once I made it to the end, I took down the Tornado, which is the final boss, and finished the story.
Tornado Wrangler! Let's go!
Giving me another trophy for finishing the game.
Wake up. Wake up.
But we're not done yet, because to 100% the game, you must play the game again on the hardest difficulty and go for a cleanup on the rest of the trophies. This can be collecting all the coffee thermos, the radio stations, the manuscript pages, because there are some manuscript pages that gets only available on the hardest difficulty, which is only unlocked if you play the game on normal difficulty, so you have to do 2 playthroughs. Now, I just want to say thank you for making it this far into the video. This took me a lot longer than expected to be, and I'm aware of my avatar, but I can assure you that it will get better. With every video I upload, I will improve. Please let me know in the comments of what I can do to improve the quality of my videos, since I'm giving this my best shot. And I will say that Alan Wake is a great game. An easy 8 out of 10 for me. I find the story and the gameplay unique, and this is coming from someone who plays Call of Duty, but I'm glad I've gone outside my comfort zone to play this game and make this video, and I'll continue to do so for future uploads. And if you're interested in playing Alan Wake yourself, give it a try. There are also 2 DLCs, which I've also obtained all the trophies for, and now I have Alan Wake at 100% on my profile. Thank you again for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.
Lake. It's an ocean.